Well, some shady shit. Sure enough went down. I looked around and I said, "Oh, the shade, the shade." And I'm like, "Come on through, Cookie." Come on up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. Here we go. This is episode 3 of Shades of Blue. They did okay. I've been telling y'all this show for me is a lot. It's a lot of cops and robbers, which is not generally my thing. But let's just go. Let's go. Okay. So we start off. And boss is actually Wozniak, boss, Ray Liotta. He's going through some little thing, and you can see he's sitting at the table, and there's something that went down about his daughter, and something happened to that daughter. But whatever it was, she was clinically depressed, and boss feels a little responsible for the beginnings of whatever happened. So I'm sure we'll probably find out later on in the program what actually did happen to his daughter. Okay. The woman that's in charge of FBI of the whole thing her name is Gail. And Gail actually does know Harley personally. So there's that whole thing. Gail actually has pulled the Asian chick and the jerk together and told, he thinks there's too many risks being taken as far as she goes with this situation and her being found out and that whole thing. And the jerk feels as though there's not, that he doesn't believe that there really is a mole on their end, and that Wozniak is just confused and that there really isn't a mole and that kind of thing, and that he really doesn't feel as though Harley's in any danger, which is absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. We literally find out that Miguel Zepeda is actually eligible for a retrial. And he's, because he's claiming that he was wrongfully charged with the murder, which we know he actually was. And there's a chance that he could actually get a retrial. And boss basically tells Harley, as long as I'm able to be in court and I am there to back your story, you're going to be fine. She made him promise that if anything were to really happen and she went down, that he and his wife would actually take care of Christina for her. And he's like, we definitely would, but that's not going to happen because we're going to take care of it. So there's a new ADA, and he has taken a little bit of a liking to Harley. So we've seen that early on, and we know that, okay? So he told her, handle that. Make sure you make good with the ADA, and and we'll just take care of it. It is what it is. So boss actually meets with his partner that he works with, the little crooked guy from the FBI, which his name is actually Donnie. He actually is meeting with him, and he basically tells boss, you need to really be checking out who you got working with you, and take care of it. Take care of it. Take care of what the mole is, and that you really need to be looking at Harley. And then he tells him, you need to kill her. Because he actually told him, I did the whole thing with her, and I think she's the mole. He says, I think you're right. I think she is the mole. And he said, well, you need to kill her, and you need to get it done. And he told him about the hair behind the ear thing and all of that. But Boss has said, I don't think that that's foolproof. It's not foolproof. And he said, and you can't take back a bullet, you know. So he's not totally sure. He doesn't even want to believe that she is the informant. Okay, so we got all that going on. Now Tess, which is the other female that's part of the crew, Tess that literally found a body behind her house. She calls her partner. They're trying to take care of that. So there was a whole mess about that. Comes to find out later on that the child, she's actually selling her house. She has nothing to do with the fact that this kid has ended up dead. She moved the body because she's planning on selling the house. And it's going to be a problem with, a murder being that close. That's going to be hard, make for a hard sell for a house and all of that. We find out later on that the child, he's not a gang member or anything like that. He's actually a student. New York University student. He's nothing wrong with him. And then his parents are pretty high up in the mosque, that's in the area. So it's just a whole big mess. And they thought it was like a hate crime thing and that kind of thing. And the more they dug, they found out that he actually shot himself by mistake. Like playing with the gun pretty much and shooting. He shot a garbage can and the damn bullet ricocheted and shot his ass and killed his ass in the damn alley. But attached to that was a whole thing of where's the gun. Come to find out they were creating these they're plastic guns. Non-registered plastic guns. Him and his goddamn roommate. So they end up going and getting the roommate and arresting the roommate. Okay, so just hold on to that information. Okay, so Gail at the FBI had already told the jerk, because that's what I'm gonna call him, the jerk, the guy that's running everything. She told the jerk he needs to give her some solid information. She's gonna pull the whole operation because she just does not have good feelings with this whole thing. He had one day to get her something concrete against Wozniak or she's going to pull it. And he was like pissed off. He's just pissed off. And he always shows up at the most inopportune times. He's very arrogant and all of this. So we got all that going on. So he's pressuring her and pressuring her and pressuring her to get something. And Hardy tells him, Boss has a black book of contacts that he keeps in a locked file cabinet in his office. He tells her to get it. Wozniak wasn't actually at the office, so she's in the process of trying to get the book. And at that moment, the ADA actually walks in. He's coming to get this box of files that he's going to go through. So that stopped her for what she was doing. And she goes with him to help him. Well, she got sloppy because she got so caught up in the whole situation with him that she done left the damn drawer. That the key, because the key was in the drawer, and then you got the file cabinet over here. So the key, she got the key in her pocket, and the drawer is left open, and the book is still there. The black book is still there when because Wozniak walked up on it. The black book is still there, but then she realizes she has the damn key in her pocket. Of course, she's shifty. J-Lo, she's hardly shifty as hell. So she worked her way out of it. She rolled back up in there. She tells him, there was 2 files that weren't in the box, and I had to get Xerox copies. So I forgot to put your key back in your drawer. Here's your key. She took it out of her pocket and gave it to him. He's like, all right. And he looks at her, but he's still like, But he looks at her. Then he literally ends up going behind her and talks to the ADA and finds out there were no missing files. So he busts her in a lie yet again. Then he ends up following her. She was supposed to be going to lunch at Tess's house. Now, they've told him nothing about the situation with Tess and the body. They've literally kept that away from Boss altogether, okay? Because Tess moved the body, and then her and her partner then went and hid the body or whatever. So she agreed to help Tess to take care of that. She's the one that figured out everything about how he killed himself and all that stuff. He followed her to Tess's house. Still didn't really figure out exactly what was going on with Tess, but he tailed her, and he's sitting there, and she's like, she didn't even go to Tess's house, really. They went over to the back alley or whatever. And in the meantime, he actually sees that he's been, well, he didn't really realize it wasn't really him they were tailing. It was the FBI agents actually tailing Harley. That he picked up on it. And he ends up rolling out. He rolls out and he's like, this is all a mess. So he's getting more and more evil with this whole thing. He's getting really, really pissed off. And then we actually get to see the jerk from the FBI. We get to see him in some of his personal life. We actually get to see him interact with his baby. He has a son, a young son, and the baby's mom. And they're actually coming out of court, like family court. And he was even a dick to the mom. So this is just him. He's just an arrogant prick altogether. So, of course, you know I'm hating him more and more every goddamn episode. So I'm hating him so much. So we're like, okay, cool. So boss actually calls Harley and tells her, you know what? I'm going to need you to meet me. I'm going to need you to meet me at the marina. And all of this came about because Wozniak ends up going, when he left trailing Harley at Tessa's house, that whole thing, he left there. When he left from the FBI, made sure he wasn't being followed, he left and went to a motel. At the motel, he meets Donnie at the motel. And he's telling Donnie, you know, that's it. It's solid. She's lied to me. She is the mole, this, that, the other. And he told him, you need to get rid of her. You need to kill her. And it needs to happen right away. You need to get rid of her. Just get rid of her because we got a big deal coming. We ain't got this to do. Fuck her. It's over. You were wrong about her. Kill her. So I'm like, oh, damn. You know, so I'm like, it got me all anxious. They cut the commercial break and I'm like, you know, I'm hating this so much. Next thing I know, right before we cut to the commercial break is when the shit jumped off. Baby, after he told him to kill her, he turned around, baby, and these two went up into one old lip lock, baby, and it was on and popping. It was a sword fight fest. I said, shut up. The shade, honey. Here, Wozniak, baby, likes boys, honey, and him and Donnie is getting down. I said, wait a minute. Now, I didn't see that coming. I said, what? Child, that damn Wozniak got so much shit going on. He's a dirty cop. He's sideways. He's mean and hateful and all. And he liked Ding Dong, too. A mess. I said, oh, he's too much. He is just too much. So anyway, we got that old thing going. I said, oh my God. And so I said, maybe this ain't too much cops and robbers. Maybe this is got all the drama that I was missing in the first 2 episodes, child. This is... Anyway, so we ain't going to focus too much on that. We know Wozniak is one of the children. He likes boys. That's okay. So this is just too much. The cops is doing each other and carrying on. Meantime, we got the rookie. The rookie is he's still having all these problems about this murder that he committed. He done took his ass down to the neighborhood. They were doing a car wash, raising funds. He done donated $100. And then he done went and took the cousin. It was a cousin that was running, a cute little girl. He done took her out to eat, her and her little boy. And took them out to eat. And he's falling for her. So I'm like, oh, Lord. So we see that all unfold. He's really falling for her. And I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. So that's a whole mess going on. Okay. So then we got Harley. She has to get everything together with the ADA. And the ADA is fine, by the way. He's real sharp. So she's attracted to him. And you can tell that there's a lot of sexual tensions between the two of them. And he's a real sharp guy. So they end up going out to dinner. And, you know, she's pushing up on him a little bit. Oh, boy, done tailed her Follow her to the restaurant. Now he in the restaurant. I said, I'm so goddamn sick of him. So she's like, excuse me. She excuses herself. She goes on to the bathroom. Now this is where I'm hating the jerk. And this is why I've been calling him the jerk the whole time. He is a fucking jerk, and I hate him. I hate him so much. He plays the part so well. I hate him so much. I was hating him at that family division situation with the baby and the baby's mama. But after this scene right here, I hate his ass, okay? He's in there with her, and he's telling her, what is this situation about you going to the marina? I got your phone tapped and blah, 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 say blah, say blah, say blah, this, that, and the other. She's like, man, you trying to get me killed. I'm going to go meet boss at the marina. He wants to talk to me about, I'm sure it's about this big deal that he got going on. And he's like, I don't know. Now, she don't really know that she's born there to be. Okay. This fool is telling her, take your dress off. And she's like, I'm not wearing no wire. She's like, you can't follow me there because it's private property. He's going to see you if you try to trail me there like you do all the time and all that. They be calling her and stuff. He calls her all while she's at work. He's ridiculous. And she's like, you're going to get me killed. I'm not doing this like this. This is crazy. So he's like, you will do it, this, that, thing, and the other. So he gets to, he threatens her about her daughter in jail and all this bullshit. It's like, fine, whatever. So, of course, she goes and she's taking the dress off. And he went to reach for her. She's like, no. You don't touch me. You don't ever touch me. This bastard snatched her up and, like, put her arm behind her back and got all up in her motherfucking ear and going to tell her, you do what I tell you to do. I own you. This, that, thing, and the other. I wanted his head blown off. I want him gone. I want him gone. I want him gone. So I hate him. I hate him so much. He is a fucking jerk. But anyway, so he got all this going on. She's looking at him like, oh, really, motherfucker? Now, her whole character, Harley's already been in a situation, the earlier part of her life, when she was pregnant with an abusive man. And now you done ran into another abusive motherfucker trying to run you. I was so not here for it. So I was pissed. So I hate him. So we just get that out the way. James hates him. He's the jerk as far as I'm concerned. So when you hear me say the jerk, y'all know who I'm talking about, the jerk. So he does all that. She like, all right, cool, whatever. So she ends up going. Now she has this whole exchange. She goes down. She meets with boss. Baby boss pulls a gun on her, tells her, you're the mole, this, that, thing, and the other. They're going back and forth. She's like, are you serious? And they're going back and forth, and they're having this. And she's telling you, tell me what. So he said, you got a tick that tells that you're lying, this, that, the other. And he tells her, she said, what is it? What is it that I do that makes you think that I'm lying? And he said, you always put your hair behind your ear. She said, man, I've been pushing my hair behind my ear since I was in kindergarten. Seriously? Did you just go ahead and kill me then? And she goes on and she gets to explain to herself, baby, she's rolling these lies off. She's smooth. She's smooth. She's a bad bitch. So she got it all going down, baby, got his head going like this. I said, bitch, you better do it. You better goddamn do it, Harley. And so she got it together, baby. And she said, it is what it is. Because if I'm this dirty bitch that you trying to make me out to be, then of course I would have a wire on me, right? So she says, here, check me for it. So she gives her purse and shit. She would say, I ain't got no necklaces or none of this shit like this on. Where's the wire? I said, oh, bitch, you better do it. Then we got to see, not only is she a bad cop and a bad bitch, she's a good gambler too. She turned around and she gonna say, it. So she starts taking off her dress and he's saying, what are you doing? She gonna say, you see this dress I got on? You would be able to see it, right? So she pulls the dress down. He's like, don't do that. You ain't got to do that. So I'm thinking to myself, as much as she knows, she probably knows he's a sissy on top of that. But or maybe not, because remember, he's married, so he's not really a sissy. He's bisexual. He's a closeted freak. But again, he looks at her more like a daughter. So we're gonna go with that. We'll go. Not that he don't like women. We'll go with the fact that he looks at her as a daughter. So he didn't want to look at her with her clothes off, because you know J-Lo's a bad bitch. So she's like, she pulls the dress down. And baby, when they pan the camera behind her, that bitch got the wire on, but it's in the back of her bra. She has one of the bras with the crisscross in the back. Baby, that's where the goddamn wire was. I said, this bitch is a badass gambler too. I said, you better fucking do it. So she went ahead, pulled her dress back up, and he's like, all right. She spun that shit. I said, okay, my girl, Jedi mind trick, okay? So she did all that, and it was hot. It was hot. I loved it. So that was that. They left from out of that. Bam. We're done with that. So she got everything back on track, and I was so happy. But we still got the jerk. So the jerk. So now we got the Asian girl is trailing Wozniak, boss. She's trailing him. He went to a bar. He's having a drink because he's all stressed out. Then we got the jerk is trailing Harley. And, you know, he got a liking for her. But we figured that out anyway, that he kind of had a liking for her. And then he's just a jerk. You know, he's damn near like a damn rapist and he's an abuser. Outside. And the way he kept going in and out of her apartment, I don't like that motherfucker. But anyway, so he's trailing her. She sees him outside her house, you know, and she gave him very much of this, you know. And she goes in her house, and this next piece was just so fierce. She comes back out her house. He trailing her still. She got a casserole dish. I said, where's she going? Maybe she goes onto this apartment building, and she looks and makes sure, you know, she sees him pulling across the street. He's still trailing her. She goes on. She got everything together. Well, where does she go? She goes on to the ADA's apartment. He says, well, you know where I live? She will say, I'm a detective. You know? He's like, you know, I will invite you in, but, you know, it's like crossing the line, baby. She threw that sexy up on him, honey, and made her way up in that apartment. And he was then, you know, he ended up telling her a little bit about the fact that you know, because when they were at dinner real fast, he told her about the fact that he was engaged, but that fell through. And his life is kind of like a shambles. He's like getting out of all that. He didn't have shit. He ain't got no TV and shit. The DVR got taken. The DVD player got taken and all that. So that was funny. But she gonna say, you know, we ain't gotta do all that. You can just kiss me for real. Till she put it up on him, honey. So I said, okay, girl, you better damn do it. So, and that's when I really looked at him. He really is fine. He's short. And baby, she leaped up. He picked her up and leaped her up on the counter, baby, and it was on and popping. And they was getting ready to get it, baby. And you see her reach down to her purse and basically make sure that her wire it's in her purse and it's turned up. And 2 birds with 1 stone. She killed 2 birds with 1 stone. She was getting that good, and letting old jerk boy listen the whole time. And he was out there in the car, baby, hot as a firecracker. I said, oh, girl, you better do it. You better do it. She old mean, bitch. That's my kind of girl. She know what's up. She knew just how to get back at him. You control me. You own me. Really? Well, listen to me get this ding dong. Listen to that, you motherfucker. I said, oh, I loved it. So that's where we ended at. I loved it. Loved it. Episode, you know, it's been really good. Episode 1 was really good. Episode 2, story. You know, a lot of story. There was a lot of story content there. Episode 3, oh yeah, the shade of it all. I loved it. I said, okay, so I'm so here for this. So I think I got the drama that I was looking for in the midst of my Cops and Robbers series that I'm reviewing. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be watching this. This is a mess. I said, okay. So that's it. That's all I got, guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys know how that works. And I will talk to you guys next Thursday. All right, guys. Bye for now.